The Dhammapada, read by Venerable Ajahn Jetavana. The hatred of those who mull over the wrong done to them keeps on growing, who bear within them an enmity. He has abused and beaten me, defeated me, and plundered me. Hate is not allayed for them.
Akkocchi, Monk, avadhi, Monk, ajini, Monk, ahāsi, me, tesaṃ, upanayhantī, veraṃ, tesaṃ, sammati.
Uncontrolled hatred leads to harm and overcoming anger. The story of Monk Tissa, verses 3 and 4. While residing at the Jetavana Monastery in Sāvatthi, the Buddha uttered these verses with reference to the monk Tissa. Tissa, son of the Buddha's maternal aunt, was at one time staying with the Buddha. He had become a monk only in his old age, but he posed as a senior monk and was very pleased when visiting monks asked his permission to do some service for him. On the other hand, he failed to perform his duties expected of the junior monks. Besides, he often quarrelled with the younger monks. Should anyone rebuke him on account of his behavior, he would go complaining to the Buddha, weeping, very much dissatisfied and upset. Once the teacher asked him, "Tissa, why have you come to me so sad, sorrowful, with tears in your eyes weeping?" The other monks had discussed among themselves, if he goes alone he may cause trouble. So they too went along with him, paid obeisance to the teacher, and sat down respectfully. On one side Tissa answered the teacher's questions. "Venerable, these monks are abusing me," the teacher asked, "but where were you sitting?" "In the center of the monastery, in the hall of state, Venerable." "Did you see these monks when they came?" "Yes, Venerable, I saw them." "Did you rise and go to meet them?" "No, Venerable, I did not." "Did you offer to take them their monastic utensils?" "No, Venerable, I did not offer to take them." "Tissa, do not act thus. You are alone to be blamed. Ask their pardon." "I will not ask their pardon, Venerable." The monks said to the teacher, "He is an obstinate monk, Venerable." The teacher replied, "Monks, this is not the first time he has proved obstinate. He was obstinate also in a previous state of existence. We know all about his present obstinacy." "Venerable, but what did he do in a previous state of existence?" "Well, then, monks, listen," said the teacher. So saying, he told the following story. Once upon a time, when a certain king reigned at Benares, an ascetic named Jetavana, who had resided for 8 months in the Himalayan country, desiring to reside near the city during the 4 months of the rains for salt and vinegar, returned from the Himalayas. Seeing 2 boys at the gate of the city, he asked them, "Where do monks who come to this city spend the night?" "In the potter's hall, Venerable." So Jetavana went to the potter's hall, stopped at the door, and said, "If it is agreeable to you, Bhagava, I would like to spend 1 night in your hall." The potter turned over the hall to him, saying, "I have no work going on in the hall at night, and the hall is a large one. Spend the night here as you please, Venerable." No sooner had Jetavana entered the hall and sat down than another ascetic named Naranda, returning from the Himalayas, asked the potter for a night's lodging. The potter thought to himself, "The ascetic to arrive first may or may not be willing to spend the night with him. I will therefore relieve myself of the responsibility." So he said to the ascetic who had just arrived, "Venerable, if the ascetic who arrived first approves of it, Spend the night at your pleasure." So Naranda approached Tewala and said, "Teacher, if it is agreeable to you, I would like to spend one night here." Tewala replied, "The hall is a large one, therefore come in and spend the night on one side." So Naranda went in and sat down beside the ascetic who had gone in before him. Both exchanged friendly greetings. When it was bedtime, Naranda noted carefully the place where Tewala lay and the position of the door, and then lay down. But when Tewala lay down, instead of lying down in his proper place, he lay down directly across the doorway. The result was that when Naranda went out at night, he trod on Tewala's matted locks. Thereupon Tewala cried out, "Who is treading on my locks?" Naranda replied, "Teacher, it is I." "False ascetic," said Tewala, "you come from the forest and tread on my locks." "Teacher, I did not know that you were lying here. Please pardon me." Naranda then went out, leaving Tewala weeping as if his heart would break. Tewala thought to himself, "I will not let him tread on me when he comes in also." So he turned around and lay down, placing his head where his feet had been before. When Naranda came in, he thought to himself, "The first time I injured the teacher, this time I will go past his feet." The result was that when Naranda entered, he trod on Tewala's neck. Thereupon Tewala cried out, "Who is that?" Naranda replied, "It is I, teacher." "False ascetic," said Tewala, "the first time you trod on my locks, this time you tread on my neck. I will curse you." "Teacher, I am not to blame. I did not know that you were lying in this position. When I came in, I thought to myself, the first time I injured the teacher, this time I will go past his feet. Please pardon me." "False ascetic, I will curse you." "Do not do so, teacher." But Tewala, paying no attention to what Naranda said, cursed him all the same, saying, "May your head split into 7 pieces at sunrise."